What up, Lost Boys? It is officially week 7 in fantasy. Things are starting to get pretty crazy. We are about 45% away through the fantasy season because we have 17 games. Our fantasy playoffs, they don't start until week 15, I think. Yeah. So 6 games in, we're about 45% of the way. The league is still completely wide open. We have Cass in first place at 5-1. He's crushing it. He has the most points and the second most points, the second least points against. So he is obliterating people still. We have a few teams at 4-2. Josh Lama and Barreto. So those are our playoff teams right now. But like I said, completely wide open. But before we get into week 7 stuff, let's go a quick recap of week 6. We're going to start with Josh versus Learning Computer. Wasn't really much to talk about in this game. It was a pretty crappy game. Josh didn't hit his projections by almost 40 points. So that was pretty bad. Learning Computer did the same thing. Josh had a lucky week this week. He scored, I think, the fourth least points and got the victory. Learning Computer got a huge game from Josh Allen as expected, but he did not get the huge game from Stafford that was expected. I thought that was going to happen, and he did not. Stafford's looking really rough so far this year, so Josh takes the victory in that one. Next, we're going to go with Tim versus Justin. Another one not really to talk about. Tim's team is dead. It's officially dead on arrival. He's 1-5. He's not even breaking 80 points, for Christ's sake. Not even breaking 80 points. So Tim is living up to his name by far. Justin takes that one down. We're going to go with Sweet Chin versus Denny. This one had a chance to be closer. It was a 20-point win for Denny, but Jace definitely had a shot going into that Monday night game, and we know how that went. I don't know what's going on with Herbert. I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson. They're both being coached by absolute idiots. I feel like all the coaches in the NFL are just fucking idiots. I'm sorry. I know you guys give me shit about this, but it's the truth. They're all turd faces. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to call plays. They don't know how to run under center. They don't know how to do play action. They don't know how to feed the ball to their best players. They're trying to outsmart themselves. It's just bad across the board. Anyway, Jace loses that one. He had a chance to win on Monday, but he couldn't pull it through. Cass versus Cal. Cass once again slaughters Cal. Beats him by about 16 points. So Cal needed a victory, couldn't get it. So Cass stays in first place. And then we're going to go to Llama versus Titty. This was the matchup of the week. The highest scoring guy versus the third highest scoring guy. Pat, another bad beat. Last week he lost because of a safety that the Giants gave the Packers. And this week he scores the third most points in the league, and he still loses. It was rough. Patty definitely needed a victory this week. If he could have snagged a victory this week or last week, his team would have been in really good shape because his team's about to get healthy with Jonathan Taylor and Dak coming back. He wasn't able to get a victory in either of the weeks, so he's starting behind the 8 ball. Going forward, he's only 2 games back of a playoff spot right now, so it's still anything's up in the air. Ryan, on the other hand, he's doing exactly what we thought he was going to do. He's 4-2. He's in the playoffs right now. His team is healthy. His team's ceiling is great. He also has Mr. DeAndre Hopkins on his bench coming back this week, so his team's only going to get better. So Ryan's definitely someone to take a look out for. Now let's go to week 7, guys. And what I like to call By-Mageddon. We got the Eagles, we got the Rams, we got the Bills. We got all these teams on bye this week, all these fantasy studs on bye, and it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds for our fantasy teams. We're going to start with the matchup of the week. First place versus second place. Most points versus second most points. Cass versus Josh, and I think By-Mageddon may have hit these two teams the hardest of any of the teams. Josh lost both of his quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Vikings, that's another team on bye. He lost Kirk Cousins. He lost Jalen Hurts. He lost Justin Jefferson. He lost his tight end. So he has 4 of his starters, including both quarterbacks and his number 1 pick on bye this week. Cass, on the other hand, got crushed by the byes as well. He lost Darrell Henderson. He lost Cooper Kupp. He lost, who else did he lose? A.J. Brown. Cass lost a lot of guys this week as well. So both of these high-scoring juggernauts are now projected to score a measly 130 and a 118. So who knows what's going to happen this week? These matchups are kind of convoluted because of all the buys, but I'm going to go with Cass this week. Like I said, the reason I took him the last week and the reason I took him the week before is just the pedigree. He's scoring the most points, and his opponents are taking dumps every single week, and I don't foresee that changing. Josh lost both of his quarterbacks. It's hard to go from Jalen Hurts and Kirk Cousins to Davis Mills, long neck, and Kenny Pickett coming off a concussion. So I'm going to assume that Kyler Murray is going to score as many points as both of Josh's quarterbacks combined for Cass. Cass has some decent matchups as well. And then at the end of the day, he has Mr. Steady Eddie. He has Kelsey, who's been dominating for him all year. Breece Hall's coming into his form. He's going to be a stud going down the stretch. He already is a stud. So that was a great pick, Cass. I did not see him doing this good this early in the season. On the flip side, Josh, he still has Chubb starting. He still has Jamar Chase starting. He still has Kamara starting. But like I said, I just am going to go with Cass this week. I think he takes the dub. I think the quarterback and tight end gap on Cass's team is too high. And I don't think Josh's guys are getting enough touchdowns. I know Kamara has 0 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson has 1 receiving touchdown, even though he's not playing this week. I mean, his team's just not scoring enough TDs. So I think Cass takes the victory and stays in first place this week. All right, next one, we're going to go with Jace versus Tim. Now, Jace needed the bye week coming up more than anyone. His team, he is not happy with his team. We'll just talk about that. His quarterbacks are just so bad. He finally did the right thing and benched Russell Wilson for Marcus Mariota, which was the smart thing. We thought a couple weeks ago he hit the lottery ticket whenever Javonte Williams got hurt. He had Melvin Gordon Staffs on his bench. Well, man, that looked like a turd face play. So he got benched in the middle of Monday Night Football. Did terrible for him. So Jace's team, we can talk about Jace's team all we want. He got the great Kenneth Walker pickup. That's good. But the real thing is who he's playing this week. It's Tim. It's the worst team in the league. Maybe the worst team in the history of our league, and that's saying something. He's bad every single week. He doesn't score any points. Teams might as well just count it as an easy dub. Except for Cal. Sorry, Cal. But Jace gets Tim this week. No reason to really talk about this one much longer. Jace destroys Tim like everyone destroys Tim. We're going to go with Llama versus Denny. This is going to be a really, really good matchup because Llama's in the playoffs. He's 3rd place, and I think Denny is 5th or 6th place right now. So 4-2 versus 3-3. This is going to be interesting because Llama didn't really get hurt much by the buys. He still has McCaffrey. He still has Barkley. He's putting Hopkins in. Joe Burrow, Jared Goff. Burrow kind of had a coming out party last week, so maybe that'll get him rolling. So Ryan's team's pretty healthy and pretty strong going forward. His flex spots are a little weak, but we'll see. He still has Elijah Mitchell that's going to come off of IR here in maybe about 3 or 4 weeks that can help him out. But Ryan's team's pretty strong. Flip over to Denny. Denny's big Achilles heel this year has been his quarterbacks. He's had Aaron Rodgers, and he's had Carson Wentz. I think if I remember correctly, he did have Trey Lance. I could be wrong. I think he had Trey Lance to start the year, so obviously Trey Lance got hurt. Rodgers has been a turd fest all year. Wentz is on bye. Andy's hurt, so he's starting Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson does nothing in fantasy, and Zach Wilson's going against Denver's defense, who has allowed 6 touchdowns all year, I think. So Rodgers is going to have a monster game. Tyreek Hill is going to have a monster game. The good news for Denny is he has the best running backs in the league. Eckler's back to being Eckler. He's like the number 1 running back, number 2 running back in the league right now. He's doing awesome. Even when the Chargers do bad, he still gets close to 20 points. Aaron Jones hasn't been performing, but Packers have made it clear they want to get him the ball more. But the big thing for Denny is Stevenson on the Patriots. With Damian Harris hurt, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. That guy's going to be a monster going forward. And if he showed it again last week, he's going to show it again this week. He's going against the Bears on Monday Night Football. Can Denny's running backs make up the difference on Ryan's team? I don't think they can. I mean, I love Tyreek Hill, but Ryan already has good running backs. He has McCaffrey and he has Barkley, so the running back difference isn't going to be too bad. And Ryan gets St. Brown back. He has Hopkins. He has Debo. But the biggest thing is the quarterbacks, and I think the QBs make the difference. I think Ryan goes to 5-2. Denny falls to 3-4 in that one. Next one, we're going to go with Barreto versus Learning Computer. Another interesting matchup for us. Justin sitting there in the playoff spot. I know we give him a ton of shit, but his team is looking pretty good. He made a really good trade a couple weeks back. He got some depth. Dameon Pierce already got his bye week out of the way, and he still got the victory on the bye week, so it's really, really strong. Now he has an RB1 going forward. Olave was hurt last week, still got the victory without him. So Olave's coming back. Pierce is coming back. Pittman's, starting to get rolling. I looked up his stat. The Colts have thrown the ball the second most times in the NFL, right behind the Chargers. Who'd have thought that? The Colts, of all teams. So Pittman's going to be getting a lot of targets. Justin's weak spot is his flex spot. He's starting Jerry Jeudy and Juju. He has Thielen on bye, but in general, that's always been Justin's weak spot, especially once Cordarrelle Patterson got hurt. When Cordarrelle Patterson comes in, he can plug and play, and he's going to have a pretty deep team, to be honest with you. He has Mahomes, obviously, and I think Mahomes is going to be super fucking pissed after that Buffalo game, and he's going to put up about 30 points against San Fran. And then he's got Geno going against the Chargers. So I like Justin's team a lot this week to flip it over to Matt's team. He's got that horse turd hair coming back. Keenan Allen's supposed to come back. I'm pretty sure Keenan Allen lost a leg or something. I don't know what the hell happened to his hamstring. Jeff Wilson's still getting the start, and we'll see if he does anything. He completely busted last week. I don't know what the hell happened with that. Waddle's kind of dealing with the shoulder injury right now. Fields is questionable. Plus, he's going against Bill Belichick. So I'm going to go with Justin on this one. I just like his matchup much better. Daniel Jones and Justin Fields are not the guys you want to be starting, especially when one of them is going against Bill Belichick. So I think Justin's guy. I think Mahomes may outscore both of Matt's quarterbacks just by himself. So we'll see there. You never know. Horse turd hair could go off like he has before, but I still lean in Justin this week. I think he takes the dub. He gets to 5-2. Next one, we're going with the last game of the week, Cal versus Titty. Now, this is an interesting one because both guys are 2-4, and both guys are dying for a playoff spot. I would call this a loser leaves town match, but our league is just too close, and especially because this matchup's a little interesting. Pat's team's good. I mean, I like Pat's team, and as I mentioned before, he is getting healthy, and he's projected to score over 160 points, which is absolutely insane. He wasn't really affected by the bye week. Quite the opposite, actually. He gets a lot of guys back healthy. He gets Dak back. He gets Jonathan Taylor back. I mean, he has his plethora of running backs. He's starting CeeDee Lamb, Allen Lazard. With Randall Cobb hurt, Allen Lazard's going to get even more targets. Mike Williams. He has Mark Andrews, who's clearly the number 2 tight end, which is a gold mine. Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. I mean, Pat's team looks phenomenal. On the flip side, you got Cal, who's, pretty turdy. Sorry, he's above Tim on the turd bowl, but he's just he's floating a little bit higher, a little less peanuts than Tim. So, I mean, Cal has Lamar, so it gives him a chance every single week. He has Devontae Adams, which I still love. But other than that, I mean, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, we're starting here. Come on, what are we doing? Wan'Dale Robinson, we're starting here. What are we doing? Joe Mixon's been a terrible pick. Ezekiel Elliott's been a terrible pick. James Robinson's been a terrible trade for him 2 weeks in a row. So, I mean, I don't want to go chalk, but I got to go Pat here. I mean, Cal's team's going to, I think this is going to get ugly. I think it's going to be a slaughter. I think it's going to be gross. And we'll see if Cal can keep it close. We'll see if Lamar can keep it close and Adams can get a big game. He's playing Houston, so it could happen. But I just think Pat's running backs are going to outscore Cal's running backs by like 30 points. So I just don't think Cal really has a chance this game. But it's fantasy. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, every single week I feel like every team has underscored. NFL's kind of been really shitty this year with the officiating. Every defense, I kind of was talking to Denny about this on our golf trip, every single defense is playing too high shell. It is really killing the vibes of the game. They're forcing the offenses to go 10 plays. And with all the refs flag happy, you're getting a illegal man downfield, bullshit holding calls, offensive PIs, illegal shifts, all these stupid things that just kill drives, and it's crushing the offenses this year. So it's kind of make it unfortunate to watch during red zone, but we'll see if maybe they offenses kick it into gear and these fantasy studs can start to rock. But those are my picks, boys. Like I said, the league is wide open. Keep churning. I still like the people, like Jace, like Learning Computer. Everyone's still trying to improve their roster with waiver wire ads. Like I said, this week's a huge week on buys. So it's going to be interesting to see how the matchups work out. But keep working because, like I said, Pat's in 9th place. I can easily see him in the playoffs. If a couple of these teams, Jace, Learning Computer, if they get rolling, you never know. So just keep working. I bet we have some really good matchups, and I'm hoping for some really tight ones that come down to Monday Night Football this week. So, GG boys, go Chiefs, go Bears Monday night. Talk to you guys later.